Welcome everyone. Welcome those who may be online or will be online, those who are aligned, and if you're not aligned, you'll be aligned and we'll be all fine. See, the class is growing, so maybe we should continue every week. And by Christmas the room will be full. Anyway, it's very good to continue this little journey. This is lesson 4 and meditation course. And just want to address those also who are watching online or will be watching online that after this course it will be custom made. So we'll have few sessions here in Montreal, but I may have some different ones online. And the best thing is to really keep in touch by writing to the what we call the hub. It's the kind of virtual center of Canada. So it's the email address is the one you'll see appearing. It's hub, HUB, @ca.brahmakumaris.org. But for you, this is live. And no email, just an address, 7501 Saint-Denis Street, still the same. We'll meditate tonight more than the last few weeks, because the 4th session is really about what do we do with the information we've been using so far. And so before we go into meditation, I want to summarize a little bit again, revision course, but it will be tricky. I might ask you questions, and if you answer well, you might have candies at the end of the session, but if you don't answer well, there might not be candies. So do you remember the 3 functions of the soul? The self. Do you remember the 3 parts of the self? It's deep, huh? Those who are online, they have a delay, so they can answer in 5 minutes by the time they answer it. You remember the 3 parts of the self? The intellect, the mind, and your sanskars. The sanskars, right? Mind, intellect, sanskars. Now, I won't go into all the details, but I'm sure you remember all the details of what the mind is doing compared to what the intellect is doing, and what are the sanskars, the personality traits. So the mind has thinking and emotions, and in terms of thoughts, we say there are 4 characteristics to the thoughts. Do you remember? If you want to catch a thought and analyze it under the microscope of your conscience, what would we be checking for? You didn't expect that, right? Exam today? Oh boy, this is a test. So what will be the 4 characteristics of a thought? The quality, speed, direction. These are very short answers, so we'll make it without a mic. And later, long answers, we'll use the mic. So quality, direction, speed, and there's a 4th one. Depth. And it's quite good to know, because you want to catch your thoughts sometimes and analyze if your thoughts are deep or not, or fast or high quality, and focused or not. And it might seem very simple, but if you go to the doctor and he takes a sample of your blood and they want to analyze it, they have to know what to look for. And so the same way, I find that when we go into meditation, in a few minutes you'll see that we need that information, because this is what we're going to work on: the speed, the depth, the direction, and the quality of thoughts. And these, by improving the quality of thoughts, we know that the feelings start to change. Peace, they say, starts in the mind. But you can't have an experience of peace just like that. You can sometimes, but it's because of external circumstances. Nice music, sunset, sunrise. Yeah, that creates momentary quietness. But to generate ourselves a state of peace, we need to slow down the mind, go into deeper thoughts, high quality thoughts, and focus. And that will create peace. So in the same way, the intellect has many functions. Do you remember a few? What will the intellect? What will be the functions of the intellect? What's the speciality of the intellect? What is it designed to do? You remember? What is the intellect doing? First thing the intellect should do is remembrance. Memory. So now your intellect is a little bit on holiday, and it says, oh, was there homework to do? Was there any... I don't know if we have Jason online, and I want to remember, because Jason has been interested from the beginning, and he was, because of his interest, I thought that we should do this exercise online as well. So I just want to send greetings, but it takes 3 minutes for the delay. It's an old system, you know, like in the old days on the phone, you speak and then you wait. They hear it 3 minutes later. So, yeah, the intellect, memory, what else? Perception.
Discernment, I guess, is part of it.
Discernment, discrimination, judgment. Discerning and judging, these are two different things, but we can talk about it as well. What else is the intellect doing? It thinks through the mind. The mind is the thinking machine, but we'll think about where the thoughts come from. Some come from the intellect. Intellect holds sometimes what we call the conscience. The intelligence is part of the intellect. Decision making, the ability to decide, which means the willpower. It has the intuition. You know, sometimes you say, well, I had an intuition. Well, that's the intellect. It's not coming from your stomach, although sometimes it has a feeling that ice cream is coming. That's the stomach speaking. But intuition, decision, discernment, judging, remembering, memory, and most importantly, concentration. The organ that concentrates is the intellect. So it's very good to know, you know, if you think that your heart is breathing, you have to review your biological course, right? Lungs are breathing, stomach is digesting. There are functions for every organ. And the intellect is important because once we have a problem of concentration, it's not that we say, oh, I have a hard time to concentrate. Okay, you can say, I need to work on the concentration. Or go to who's the boss of concentration, and it's the intellect. And so the problem is not concentration. Problem is a state of the intellect. How healthy is my intellect? If your stomach is really having a trouble, doesn't matter what you put into it, it will not process it. So it's not a problem with the food, it's the problem with the stomach. So concentration is not really the issue, it's the issue of the intellect. And if the intellect is eating negative thoughts, it becomes very weak. It becomes toxic. So mind, thinking, emotion, intellect, discrimination, and all that list. And then personality traits, sanskaras in the term that we use. And sanskaras is about all the... if you had to symbolize those three organs, you would say that mind is symbolized with the waves, two little waves, because it could be microscopical waves or titanic waves. Sometimes your thoughts are so quiet, they're little waves. And sometimes your thoughts are so loud, they're like tsunami. You know, it's just a big wave. So waves is the mind. Intellect is the scales, the scales of the justice, pros and cons. But the personality traits is the fingerprint. It's your real ID card. Intellect and mind change a lot. You don't know who you are based on these, but you know who you are based on your personality traits. This is your habits. This is your tendencies, your attitude, the way you respond, the way you act. It's your personality. Very specific to every single human being. Everyone is very unique. Combination of different personality traits. Right? So well, that was just day one. Should we continue? So far, you going okay? He's taking notes. That helps. Now you need to catch up. So these, three organs, they, we need to pay attention, because meditation is about putting order into it. This is what we're going to do. And the step we moved into at the third session was actually that this is what defines what we call the soul. And the soul is mind, intellect, sanskaras. And where we change our thinking is we say, I don't have a soul, but I am a soul. And I am a spiritual being in a physical body. And it's I, the spiritual being, thinking, doing, feeling, responding. And this is nice, magical costume on earth, but it's very temporary. And we believe that the lack of awareness about the soul has put the soul asleep. And if we're not aware of our spiritual identity, then we become very physically oriented. And we look at people, we weigh them, we measure them, we take pictures, selfies, and we say, this is me, this is me, this is him. And we become very body conscious, very, very focused on the physical appearance. And we even think of the personality based on the body. And we think that because this person is like that, that person probably must be thinking that way. And if the color of the skin is like this, most likely they are like that. And we categorize people on that basis. Now, this is where we were at, right? So you did, maybe, you passed enough to have candies. So we'll serve candies at the end, right, Isabel? Yes. I'll have candy. There are special candies, made with love, given with love. So, meditation now, what we're going to do tonight or today is basically about, you see, power of the mind. I'm talking candies. Look, the candy lady just walked in with her magic hat on the hair, because if she doesn't have a hat, the hair goes like that. So she puts a hat and she presents candies. We call them tollies, and they're delicious. She makes them. So where we go from that is actually now when it gets really exciting. I was already excited last week, I remember, and I went until past the time, so I'll try to calm down tonight. But I find this is when it gets really exciting. Because meditation is, I like this idea that it's a little bit like every time you meditate, you have a big white sheet. And you have brushes or pens or whatever you want to play with. And you're free to design something, to create a new artwork. Because this is what meditation is all about. You can just decide from now on, whatever happened until now, forget it. Put a break. Just ignore whatever happened today. Put a big, sheet of paper, white, virgin, and now I'm going to draw something on it. So the question I would ask you, for example, now, just imagine you have this big white sheet. Imagine, what would you like to paint? Don't have to answer, but just think about it. What would you like to create? Violence, peace, love, harmony, kindness, nature, your future? Do you want to draw the line of your future? Do you want to paint yourself as you are now or as you will be in the future? Do you want to do automatic writing and write the words that will reveal secrets about who you are? Imagine what you can do on that blank canvas, right? And really meditation is exactly something like that. It's every time we meditate, we redesign an awareness. And of course we'll use same colors. And that's the beauty of painting. You have 4 colors, or 3 actually. And just with those 3 colors, you can mix them up and create 1 million different types of colors. So we have mind, intellect, personality traits. And what we want to do in meditation is to give the mind an kind of, an experience, a state of mind that you feel, whoa, that was nice. I felt something powerful. I felt something good. Your intellect wants to grasp not a feeling, but an awareness, an idea that says, whoa, that I like, that I never thought of that before. This is a secret. I need to think of that. You know, if you go to see maybe a therapist, how to say, a therapist, and he tells you, you know, I'll tell you something about you. I know that your issue is about, let's say, relating to people older than you. You have an issue with that. I say, really? Do I? How do you know that? He's, you know, psychic. And let's say you realize he's right. It's funny, I have really an issue with people older than me. I don't respond well to them. If somebody tells you something like this and you think it's something relevant, I'm sure you go out of his office and it starts playing with your head, isn't it? One day someone told me, Eric, you have a massive problem with ego. And I said, no. She said, yes. I said, how big it is? She says, massive. You really have an issue with that. And I'm saying it very nice, but she said it not so nice. And she got really mad at me, to be honest. And the only thing I could tell is that although I was, no, I don't have a problem with ego. Yeah, I probably do. And she says, I'm right. No, you're wrong. No, I'm right. You're wrong. Oh, yeah, I do have a problem with my ego. And I know I mentioned it a few times, but she concluded this argument, basically, by telling me, and you know what, Eric? You always want to have the last word. And I almost replied, no, it's not. Yes, it's true, I guess. And I know I've mentioned that often because it is really, for me, a big turning point in becoming aware that somebody could see something in me very obvious, but I couldn't see it. And she could tell me, hey, you really have a problem with your ego. But to me, I didn't have a problem with my ego. I was fine. Everybody was wrong. I don't know why I didn't know they were wrong. You know, that's my ego speaking. But the moment she pinpointed that to me, I came out of that experience with a big awareness, finding out I have cancer, you know, I have a big disease, because this is creating big trouble. And I realized that a lot of my troubles from the past were connected to that. So afterwards I started a journey to pay attention, to see it. And it was so obvious. It was horrible. You know, it's like somebody tells you, you have, you know, big spaghetti sauce on your forehead. Is it really? You normally want to wash it and take it away. But imagine it's been there so long that even if you remove it, still you have a spaghetti, you know, design on your forehead. You wouldn't like it. And to me, it was exactly that. She told me, you have a big ego. I said, wow. And it doesn't go away like that. And then I became very, very aware. I could hear it. I could hear my ego speak. And I'd say, whoa, this is not nice. As a joke, I used to say, I thought it was just being French, you know, speaking like that. I said, no, no, no. This is called ego. Because French think they are often right, you know. So I thought, this is my French personality. I said, no, that's called ego. And trying to remove it was not easy. Because before I never saw it. Then I started seeing it. And, you know, one day a person will, for example, give me a class about punctuality, being punctual. And she praises the quality of being punctual. And I realized, oh, wow, I'm not punctual, but I thought it was okay not to be punctual. And why I'm always late? Because in my head, there's always the thought, oh, it's okay, it's normally 10 past 6 will be okay. And because I have that thought, I'm always late. And I don't think it's bad until somebody nicely tell me, you know, there's a notion of respect for the other person. That if you bring someone at 6 and you come late, you're lacking a little bit. I'm just not giving you a moral lesson, but I was taking it personally. And to me, I realized, oh gosh, it's an issue. My point is, the intellect likes to discover new things that are actually an obstacle in my own achievement of happiness. If I know why I'm not happy and why I'm not achieving what I want to achieve, then you say, I want to think about this because this is relevant. If someone tells you, you know why you're not succeeding at work? Because you always act like this in front of your boss. He doesn't like it. And if somebody tells you that, you say, really? Oh, gosh. Next time you see your boss, you're going to watch yourself. And then you'll first feel, that's true. And then you'll feel, oh, how can I change? So now we're moving into awareness, into my personality, my attitude, my way of being, because they're all connected. So in meditation, what we're going to look for is deep experience, so that you feel something nice, really nice, that you feel, wow, that was so nice. But also you look for awareness, a new thought that will make you think, wow, that is new, that is interesting. And that will generate what? The motivation to change a trait of my personality. And unless there is realization, there won't be transformation. And that's why we say that the process in meditation starts usually with what we call, jokingly, struggle. That's your first level of meditation. Usually everybody is very good at that. That's level 1 of meditation. I'm struggling. I'm trying to meditate. I'm absolutely unable to meditate. I'm falling asleep. I'm remembering this. I'm remembering that. The commentary says I'm a peaceful soul, and you say, oh no, I'm so tired today. You repeat everything the wrong way. And the commentary say I'm a being of light, and you say, I don't see any light here. What's going on? And the meditation says, I have good feeling for everyone. This is not true. I hate this one. It really bugs me. This is called struggle. Your mind is not going at all in the right way. It's creating fast thoughts, scattered thoughts, negative thoughts, and it's happening. Sometimes we have meetings and it's not going too well, and then the music comes and so, let's meditate a few minutes. And so everybody were arguing before, and then we all sit in silence, and I'm sometimes wondering, are we stopping arguing now in our head? Or are we still arguing in silence? It takes time to slow down and to say to your mind, hey, stop going that way. And it takes really effort to tell the mind, stop it, hey, be positive. And we'll talk about it, but this is where I'm getting really excited, because the mind is a fascinating energy. And once we start to have a little chit-chat with the mind, and to experiment how the mind can change and be, to obey, it's a fascinating experience. The most eloquent representation of that for me is, I saw a documentary on, it's not the documentary, it was a great show in Britain, changing people in drastic ways. So they took a punk guy who was playing music in a rock band, and the game of the show was they had, I can't remember, 3 months to transform that person into something different. So they tried to transform him into an orchestra director. And they tried to fool the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra jury to listen to this guy with other people and see if they will know if he's a fake or not. And he would pretend to be a finalist in the exam to become an orchestra conductor. And this guy was, red hair and piercing everywhere and totally unable even to appreciate classical music. And he had no clue what an orchestra conductor could do. And so he thought it was anyway useless when they make all these movements in front of the orchestra. And the first time they gave him a stick, and he was a little kind of a band that was in front of him. And so he rehearsed a little bit before, and then the first time he was with a band, and then he was joking, laughing, taking it not very seriously. And so he was told, okay, you do this first movement, this is second movement, this is, you do like that. And so he thought that was not so important how you do this. And so the band was ready to play. They had a score in front of a music score, and he went like that, and all the orchestra went totally wrong. And he felt, whoa, did I do that? And all the players said, well, why did you tell us this? Every what you're doing with your hand is it's language. You're talking to us, and you made the orchestra go the wrong way. And you realize, wow, okay, this is real. You know, when you do something, you are directing an orchestra. And to me, this is how the mind works. If you tell the mind to go in certain ways, and if you don't do it properly, it will go somewhere else. But the day the mind starts to listen and do exactly what you ask him to do, this is getting quite fascinating. Because if you say to the mind, okay, big thought, and a big thought comes, you say, whoa, I did that. And then you see yourself having such a beautiful thought, and you say, hey, I can do it. So the mind is a living energy, and just waiting for your signal. But if you don't know how to ride your mind, that's called rodeo. Level 01 of meditation, I'm struggling. Second level of meditation, usually it's called visualization. Means you're starting to focus. You see something and we'll describe it in detail. So you use visualization, because that helps you to focus. If I ask you now, visualize a beautiful tree, gigantic tree, beautiful trunk, massive trunk. You can see ants crawling on the trunk. Can you see it? Ants crawling on the trunk. Then you see the branches and the light coming through. I keep going, you'll see a tree. And for 10 minutes, if I'm describing a tree, if tomorrow I ask you, what do you remember from yesterday? You say, oh yeah, it was a tree. You remember it, as if it was real. So the mind has a screen, and we can project images on that screen. And we do that a lot in meditation, because that will help us to attain the level 3 of meditation, called concentration. So once I have visualized something, then I can start to concentrate. Because if I ask you to look at the ant crawling on the tree, and ask you, is it red or black? Or can you see how many legs the ant has, really? And is the ant carrying something? I'm sure you can do it, isn't it? You can visualize. That's becoming concentration. You have no choice. And if you focus visually, you're concentrating. It's a trick. We play trick on the mind. And it starts to concentrate. And then from there you move into the 4th step of meditation, which we call actually meditation. And the difference, when you concentrate, you know you're concentrating. You're forcing. You say, don't bother, I'm concentrating. Meditation, you don't know you're concentrating anymore. You start to be what we call absorbed. You disappear into the experience. You don't know you're concentrating. You're becoming so part of the experience that you don't make any effort to concentrate. You are living the experience, and you are now following the ant naturally, and it becomes a dream, becomes a meditation, a visualization, and you're becoming absorbed into it. But we don't want to stop there, and that's why we want to go from, battling a little bit, visualizing, concentrating, meditating. We want to go to the next level, which is the most important one, which is realization. We want that this visualization, concentration, and meditation should lead me to a state of realization. Realization in a sense of, oh wow, okay, I got something I didn't know before. Because that realization leads you to the last step of meditation, which is transformation. And the argument we'll make in Raja Yoga is, if I don't reach transformation, what's the point? What did I achieve in meditation if I haven't reached any potential transformation? You're back to square one. You had a good experience, you felt very nice, and you're back as exactly the way you were before. Well, why did you come to meditate? Take a bath at home. Same thing. Put extra bubble and nice little, bubble thing. You'll feel great. Play music. Same thing. Come out of your bath, you feel relaxed. It lasts about an hour. One phone call from your mother-in-law or from, somebody, and then you're back to square one. Forget the bath. You need another bath after the call. Isn't it? Same thing. So if meditation is just a feel-good experience, I would argue it's okay, it's better than nothing, but it's not what it's really designed for. Meditation is only the process to help me change my personality traits. Because if I'm, let's say, by nature, a fairly aggressive person, quick to respond, quickly annoyed, quickly upset, fairly aggressive with little thing, and that's pretty much a personality trait. Doesn't matter how much you meditate, that personality trait will always inject thoughts into your mind based on that nature. As I said earlier, if your nature is to be late, it will argue very well why it's okay to be late. You will find many, many thoughts that will lead you to act again the same way, leaving behind time, not being on time. So this personality trait is the real nasty little thing that we need to change. If somebody, let's say, is lazy, and you say, well, everybody is lazy to a certain percentage, that laziness is a trait of my personality. But that laziness speaks, and it speaks all languages. You cannot say that laziness speaks only English, doesn't speak French. It speaks all the languages very well. So it talks to you. Come on, I'll do it tomorrow, it's fine. It's okay if I report it one day late, it will be okay. I don't feel like doing it today. Who is talking? Laziness. But we don't know it's laziness possessing me and speaking through me. It's the lady lazy or whatever, man lazy, it's by gender. It's speaking through me, and I don't pay attention. And I think, oh, you're right. Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. But if you were to identify your thought, as we said in the beginning, quality, speed, this and the other, you realize this is not a good thought. It's not a positive thought. It's a weak thought. And it's abusing me. Because my conscience, if it was not asleep, would tell me, actually, to be better if you do it today, because they're kind of waiting for it, and your girlfriend has been telling you about 10 times about it. She's really expecting you to do it. But, we're better. She'll be happy if you do it, She'll be thanking you, And you just kind of say, did you say anything up there? No, I don't think so. And so back to lazy thought. So, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. This is like how bipolar will be a blessing. We're at multipolar in our head. And it's, shooting thoughts from everywhere. And we're confused. And then we become victim of our personality. Our personality designed our mind. And then we think it's true because I thought it. And the intellect is, sure, why not? Okay, go. The thought goes through the intellect. The intellect doesn't react. It becomes an action. Action does what? Strengthen the personality trait. If a lazy person acts in a lazy way, it's simplifying laziness. If someone who is angry becomes angry, that anger multiplies the personality trait, the fingerprint of anger. You have to go into a detox cure of anger to start reducing anger, and it takes time. And to do that, we need the intellect and we need the mind to both together launch a war against the personality trait. And how to awaken the mind and the intellect? Bingo! Raja Yoga 7501 Saint Denis Street, hub@ca.bana. I used to sell encyclopedia when I was a kid to earn money for paying my studies. They used to tell me you can sell, how do you say it? You can sell a fridge to Eskimo. So yes. But it's logical. And that's why I say I'm fascinated with this meditation thing, because it is so, that's it. If you have a knee problem, well, you go to a knee specialist and he will tell you, well, do this, do that, move like this, eat this, put some warm or cold or something. You'll do it. I want to get rid of that problem. You'll do it. Now, if we feel that life we're using 30% of our capacities and you want 70%, well, then we have to do something. And when I used to come to meditation, you know, my only motivation to meditate? Laziness. I was in university and I was thinking there should be a way to learn without effort. And I was looking for those kind of, how to call it, paranormal experiences where you can read a book by just watching it. And I believe there should be a psychic thing that I tried, it didn't work. I used to record my lessons with Baroque music. It had to be the tempo 4/4. And I used to record them on tape, you know, those old little audio tape. And then apparently they say if you play it during the night, next day you'll know everything. I failed an exam with that method. Didn't work at all. I read a book about the fantastic faculties of the brain, and I was thinking, you see, I can cheat. Instead of studying my study, I was trying to defeat the purpose by finding method to be lazy and still learn. I swear. So when I came and I read this book about fantastic faculties of the brain, and they would make it a reference to Raja Yoga. It was a Bulgarian, I remember very well, Bulgarian studies, and they made reference to people who study Raja Yoga have higher concentration capacities and this and the other. So when I came to meditate and they asked me, why do you want to meditate? I said, well, to learn quickly without any effort. And she looked at me thinking I was the only customer. So she said, I don't want to lose that customer, but he's in the wrong place, you know. It's not, he's going to be very disappointed. So she didn't tell me that because, you know, she would have lost the customer of the month, I think, at the time. So, but, yeah, that was my main motive. I want to be lazy. I was so lazy when I was a kid, and I swear this is true. I wanted to sleep as long as possible before going to the car of my dad. And I knew my dad will start the car, and I knew I had about 2 minutes to be in the car. Because anyway, he wanted always to warm up the car a little bit, so I knew I had 1 minute. So I used to go to sleep all dressed, except the shoes. And I would sleep like this. So you cannot tell, so there would be no wrinkle. And my motivation was really like, you sleep like that, no wrinkle, and then you hear the car, put my shoes, and go to the car. That was true. I did that many times. And I can only remember my dad looking at me in the mirror saying, you know, he was like a... I did that so many times. I was very lazy. So when I heard about making effort to have a better life, I thought, are you sure there's not another lesson where I can watch my book and learn and, you know, not learn, but know everything without learning? She says, no, you have to make effort. So Raja Yoga for me was a little bit hard at the beginning because I realized I have to make effort. It's not going to change. It's not going to go away. I have to make the effort. But if I have a great experience, an awareness, then I gain the power to change my personality trait. And then if my personality trait change, it will change my mind. And then suddenly one day, I won't have effort to make again, because the cycle will be spinning the proper way. And if my nature is positive, it generates positive thoughts. And if I have positive thoughts, my intellect gets clearer and clearer, fresher and fresher, more aware, gets new ideas, instinct, intuition, concentration, intelligence, all this starts to reawaken. And the intellect, when the situation comes, is strong enough to say, no, you don't do that. And the feeling will tell me, yeah, I want to do that. But the intellect said no. And there will be a little battle, but the more the intellect wins, the more I change my personality trait. And that's the spinning that we want to create. And that's why meditation is so important. So to do that, we use different approach in meditation. So I'll share with you the process of meditation from struggle to transformation. Now the tricks we're going to use, we say there are about 4 types of meditation we want to explore. Now, there may be more, and at the end it will be a mix of those 4. And I know I'm giving you a lot of information, but I'll give you, today I can give you a summary of all these classes on writing. And for those who are online, if you request it or if you want, I can put them by email as well. It's the summary of those 4 sessions. And you'll find it very useful, because if you come back again here and I again give you an exam, you'll be prepared. And so the process from struggle to transformation is clear. Now the 4 types of meditation. First one, the one I mentioned already, is visualization. So when we meditate, sometimes we feel that we can really use the visualization, but we don't visualize just for the sake of entertainment. The visualization should lead us to something. So back to the tree. The ants are still crawling up the tree. I've never done that one, so I don't know where it's going to take me. I don't know how twisted it will be, but here I am. So you're visualizing this beautiful tree, and you have little ants crawling up the tree. And you think that, for example, the tree of your life doesn't reveal all the work which is being done on that tree. And so every thought we create is like an ant going up the tree of my life. And what we don't know is that those ants are carrying something to bring life also. It's a cohabitation. It's trees and ants live together, and they share habitat. This big tree is actually an apartment building for the ants. They have all their houses around the tree. So my thoughts have to lead me to the top of my tree, because what I want to create is beautiful thoughts that will give the tree actually a sense of life, a sense of purpose. And my life gives purpose to every single one of my thoughts, but my thoughts bring purpose to my life. So my life is like a tree, a giant tree, with all the thoughts, the ants, walking on the bark of the tree, and they're moving towards the light. And at the top of the tree I can see that all the ants have brought so many elements of food and things to create their habitat. And there's a happy ant house on top of my tree. It's a bit twisted meditation, I know that on that one. But the point is, the visualization should lead me to a connection with my own journey. The most common visualization I would do is something, I've done one recently about, for example, just walking on the beach. And just visualize right now a beach, beautiful beach, white sand, and imagine that on one side of the beach you have the water, the ocean, and it's infinite blue. Beautiful, so depending if you're in the Caribbean, in Brittany, in France, and by the St. Lawrence River or the New Brunswick, depending where you are, it's not the same water. So what water are you seeing on your, let's say on your right? And you're walking on the sand, and on your right you have this ocean. And on your left, you have to decide what do you want to see on your left. You can see cliff with rocks, or you can see grass, you can see dunes, you can see almost a forest. So imagine there's something on your left, there's a beautiful beach, and there's the ocean, and then the sky. And now you're going to cross this beach, you're going to walk on that beach. And imagine that you're feeling, whilst you're walking on that beach, that actually this is the theater that represents your life. And this beach is actually the path of your life. And on your right, this ocean is the potential of your life. It's infinite. There's depth. Sometimes waves can be big, sometimes small. There's a horizon. And we just feel the purity and the natural beauty of the sea. And we're starting to think that I want my life to harmonize itself with this beauty of the ocean. And just imagine as if your life was to become as inspiring, beautiful, deep, meaningful than the ocean itself. And then whatever is on the left could represent the challenges we'll have to face in life. Rocks, forest, dunes, animals, anything can come from the land. But you are stable on the beach of your life with the potential of infinity on your right. So this meditation, I've done it many times, and you can do it for almost half an hour, because you can continue with visualization. You're walking on that beautiful sand, and you feel the warmth, and you feel that harmony with nature is actually what you want to experience in your own nature. Imagine that you could say that my life is actually so grounded that my true nature is the same as the true nature that I see around me. And my nature is as beautiful, inspiring, pure as the ocean, the sand, the sky. I know it's stretched, but it could make sense. That you want that your inner being is as peaceful as nature. I know nature can be crazy too, but that scene that we evoked, the episode of that nature, is a good one. And that's the one I want to connect with. And you think, I'm actually part of this nature. As a human being, I didn't come on earth to destroy everything. I really came on earth to be in harmony with this. So now I decide that my heart, my mind, my intellect, my personality harmonize themselves with this nature. So this meditation actually brings me in harmony with nature. So I'm kind of semi-improvising, but what I'm getting into is that this visualization brought concentration, but also brought meaning. And if you go out after tonight's session and you go into these chaotic streets under reconstruction, you might want to say, I don't want my life to be like this. I want my life to be in harmony with nature. So suddenly it becomes a little new thought to play with during the day. And you want that image, that visualization, to continue during the day, to be an inspiration. And on that visualization, I'll finish with that thought, was a point we read recently in a class was saying, draw the line of your fortune with the pen of experience on the paper of your action. I mentioned it to you last week, right? But I'm still playing with that. To me, it was an image that was given to me, or to all of us, that the pen of your experience can draw, on the paper of your action, the line of your fortune. Fortune means if my actions are so good, they are calling upon goodness, action, reaction. But what makes an action good is that it has to be authentic from my true experience. And if I'm in peace, the action I perform will have impact. If you tell someone, hi, nice to see you, but you're very peaceful inside, they'll feel it. And next time they feel a little bit anxious, they might think of you and say, oh, I'd like to be with this person, because they felt the peace within you, isn't it? So that action really is creating the fortune. So it's an image, but images can be very loud, can really make big changes. So in meditation, it's beautiful. We had a meditation last night, actually, and it was in a forest. And it just happened because in the music, I could hear birds. And I didn't pay attention, but I was listening to music, and I liked this little bird and this. And when I opened my mouth, I had no idea what will come out. And it started saying, I'm in this beautiful forest. And I said, oh yeah, forest is nice. And I'm on this path in the forest. And the whole commentary went along because those little birds were there. But the image stayed with me so much. This morning I could remember that. I could think that's how beautiful and the image was that my mind is a forest and all the trees are my thoughts. But I want to be at peace in the forest of my mind. It was very, very nice, you know. So visualization is one way to meditate. As a starter, it may evolve afterwards, but you start with visualization. Now, the second form of meditation that we use also, some days you try to have visualization, turn on your camera, or your TV screen, no picture. And so I have no idea. I've done the forest, I've done the beach, yeah, I've already done the rock, I've done this, I have no idea. So then we suggest what we call churning. Churning is another process in meditation where you take one topic and then you churn it. It means you think about it, as if you had to write a one-page essay on it in 5 minutes. So an example, I tell you, okay, we're going to churn about courage. And you sit down and you say, okay, meditation, 10 minutes, courage. So those who are in the media will be very good because you can do what we call the 5 W's. Why, where, who, when, and what. So courage, why would I need courage? Why do I need courage? Then you answer it. What would be useful if you had more courage? Do you need more courage? Where does courage come from? How do I develop more courage? What will happen in certain situations when I have more courage? So it might seem a bit abstract, but I challenge you to try it. Because what will happen? It may not be very visual, although you will remember scenes at work. Last time you lost courage. And you remember, yeah, I was really chicken on that time. I didn't have any courage. I didn't respond to the person. I was scared of what they will tell me or what they will think. I'm not having courage. I had an opinion. I didn't express it. Why? I was missing courage. So you start churning on it. How would you look like with more courage? Is courage could be ego? Is courage could be arrogance? How can I make sure courage is humble? Then you churn. Churning means you spin. And then from milk it becomes butter, or cream and then butter. Then is power. And so churning sometimes will suddenly create an awareness. And you'll be very surprised why you choose that topic. If you were to sit like you did when you came in, you sit in meditation a few minutes, and then you ask yourself, okay, what topic? You'll be surprised that sometimes your subconscious self will suggest to you the very good topic. You don't see it coming, but it's your, in the back burner, your unconscious self will suggest to you, why don't you churn about that? And then afterwards you realize that is a good idea. Of course. You know, it's there already. You need it. So churning becomes a very exciting process. And then you churn a thought. And then from that churning comes also realization. And if you churn about courage for 10, 15 minutes, like really you concentrate, you think about it, and then you start to be really involved into it, normally I can guarantee to you that something happened next day, and you'll smile and say, oh, okay, I got it. Courage. And what will be your motivation? Increase your courage, because you've been churning about it. If you don't know nothing about courage, you don't have any stimulation, any motivation to increase courage. But if you have churned about it, next day you're in a meeting, somebody challenges you, then you remember, oh yeah, I remember courage is based on faith in the self. Do I have faith in myself? Yeah, okay, then say something. Then you'll get the courage to say something. But you'll know, okay, I have to say it the right way. I should not hurt anyone. So your churning is real, and it's becoming reality. Third type of meditation, it's called focus on the point. It's a very strange one, but a very simple one. And it's one in which we want to sometimes visualization, no idea. Churning, oh, I'm so tired, I don't want to churn, I'm going to get a headache. Okay, fine. Make it simple. And that third type of meditation is just using the image of the soul. And this is why we have this picture. And at some point we'll give you, if you want, a little home poster for focusing. It's just that point. And sometimes you can use candle. It works very well as well. And you just focus on the point, and you just tell yourself, I'm a soul. I'm a peaceful soul. I'm a soul. I'm a peaceful soul. I, the soul, I'm generating peaceful thoughts. Very simple. You just focus on the light, the soul, and one thought or two, nothing more. It's really no need to make it more complicated. That's when, for me, that's very often when I want energy or when I'm really tired. When I'm really tired, that's usually churning, no interest, visualization, I've done them all. So yeah, go to the point and just go very simple. I'm a soul. I'm a good soul. Sometimes it's just that. Say, hey, I'm a good soul. I'm a really nice soul, you know. People like me. I'm a good soul. I, the soul, I'm a being of light. That's it. And you just create that thought and repeat it and then see what happens. I can guarantee to you, if you practice it on a regular basis, one day you'll tell me, I thought there was a drill going through my forehead. Literally. We always tell people to try an experience. If you put your finger here like this, try it. Just put your finger in the center of the forehead. Very, very little pressure. And at some point, if you keep it there, you'll feel the point. And it feels so light. And you just create that little pressure on the forehead. And then at some point we start to feel, okay, there's something there. And I can guarantee to you, if you repeat that thought, one day you'll, like I was actually feeling that just before walking in, you'll feel almost as if someone is calling you. And say, oh, okay, it's happening again. And it's like a pressure in the center of the forehead. And it's like really the pulse of your mind. I feel like thoughts. It's fascinating. It's very, very nice. And when that happens, sometimes you're running around at work and you feel that little pressure and you say, oh, cool down. I, the soul. The soul is calling. Because the soul is living, you know, it's vibrating here. And we just forget it. What would you do if you are working and suddenly your heart really pulses very fast? You would say, oh, something is happening, I'm not feeling well. You'll pay attention. You should pay attention to that forehead, the soul. And the fourth type of meditation, which also we use, is mostly when people have a belief system. Because actually most people do. We tell them this is a good sphere to explore in meditation. So many people like praying, talking to God, thinking of the divine, a higher being, a force of life, something a little bit more spiritual, I would say, or mystical, sacred. It's very interesting to explore that as well. It's the mystical part of the self. I would say the sacred part of the self. If people say, well, I'm agnostic, I have absolutely no belief in nothing, I say, well, then you have only 3 options. And it's still okay. You can manage with 3. But if there's an interest to explore that 4th one, it's an interesting one because it's the opposite of the other one. It's non-logical. It's absolutely, I don't know, it has infinite possibilities. You know, if you really talk to God, yeah, it's kind of, it's another world, you know. He has his own dimension. And it's a very, how to say, it's like entering, comment on dit une grotte en anglais, a cave, big cave. You don't know what's in there. To me, this is where I meet God, you know. It's a big cave, and it's mysterious. You walk in. Sometimes there's light, sometimes there isn't. And you just walk in. And he says, hello, anyone there? And you explore. Good luck. This is another form of meditation. But it's a nice one. It's one where those people who believe, you know, who really, you know, talk to God or have a relationship with God, they like to say, hey, I'm creating that space where we can meet. And it is meditation. It's a little bit different than a prayer, but it's similar. But it's a space where you're also aware why I'm going there. Same with churning, point of light, or visualization. I want to stimulate an experience, create an awareness, and get energy so I can start changing my own personality trait. So these are different forms of meditation. This is process in meditation. Now, the only thing is missing is really practice. To practice meditation, we suggest a few things. One thing that works very well is to identify a space for meditation. And it's really, we know we're playing tricks on ourselves. It's the Pavlov experience. You ring a bell, bring the food, the dog eats. Ring the bell, brings the food, the dog eats. And one day you ring the bell, you don't bring the food, but the dog is already, how to say, he's solving, he's feeling as if he's eating already. You create association. So if we have a space at home that you identify as your meditation space, in the beginning you have to bring it alive. So you feel, what do you want to have in that little space? It may be very simple, just a regular seat in your living room, but you might just want to make one tiny little change. One special cushion, one candle, one little poster of this on the table, little thing, because it will become an association. Why do we put candles? I can meditate very well with that candle, but the moment I light a candle, it triggers last experience. Why do we wear white? When we come here, or for those who want, those shawls are white. For me, I almost came wearing the clothes I had today. Just really, I was, coming here, I didn't have much time. I said, I can wear the same clothes. And I thought, no, I know the feeling. Take a shower, put more white clothes, and immediately my mind changes. It's association. It's just helping. It shouldn't be a dependency, but it helps. So, bed is not a dependency, but it's very useful if you want to sleep. That's good. It's a useful thing. So same with meditation. It's not necessary, but useful. So first we create a space, because then when you will enter that space some days, you will have no effort to make. You'll just sit there, turn on your little light, and then it will happen, because it's association. So it helps. Then it's create timing. And the timing we suggest for meditation is very good early morning. And I know for some people it's the worst time because they fall asleep right away. But it's good to try to make that as habit. And what we suggest is when you wake up, try to wake up just 10 minutes earlier than normal, which is quite normally possible. Just 10 minutes. Is it possible? It's not much more, 10 minutes. I'm not asking 1 hour, 10 minutes. And you think that those 10 minutes is really going to be dedicated to your meditation. Don't think you're going to lack sleep. 10 meditations, sometimes you'll fall asleep, so you're catching up. And if you're not falling asleep, you're meditating. And as a sales pitch, I would say 10 minutes meditation is worth 30 minutes sleep. So good bargain, making a good deal. So giving time to that meditation. And so morning time and evening time. We say these are really the two best moments in meditation. And they say that the first thoughts you have in the day will design your whole day. So when we go to bed, sometimes we have the thought, tomorrow I want to wake up positive. I really want to generate a positive thought. It's just a habit. For me, when I wake up in the morning, it's always, hello, good morning, in my cave, if there's somebody, I say good morning. I'm very superstitious, voluntarily, so I put my right foot on the floor. I do that every morning. And I feel that it's just helping little tools to say, hey, be positive. Yeah, it's not just you wake up like, oh my God, like again, I have to wake up. No, this is my lazy days. I'm not going to bed all dressed anymore, I swear. So you just, create a little ritual, and then when I wake up, it's best not to put TV, radio, nothing. Just you can fresh up your face, maybe drink a glass of water or something, and just try to just wake up, put a little blanket or something, sit not in your bed, and tell yourself 10 minutes. And I'm creating my day. I'm giving my day a blessing. And this day is going to be like very positive. So today, it's a wonderful day. And then we can give you many suggestions of meditation you create. We have meditation commentaries. Now they're all online. So you can play. They're usually exactly 5-10 minutes. Very useful in the beginning. When you get really used to it, you don't need it anymore. But in the beginning, very, very useful. They give you so many examples of meditation. So morning time, very good. Evening time, very nice before going to bed. And sometimes during the day, we suggest just taking a few minutes just to chill out. For me, my technique is, they always say if you want to be efficient at work, don't stay on something too long. Break it. Just work for an hour and a half. Then go get a tea or a glass of water, move around, stand up, move some piece of paper around, do some filing, then come back to your work. And for me, one thing I do often is that I have great fortune of having a window, and I just pretend I'm thinking, which is what I'm doing. I'm watching the bridge, the river, and just a few minutes, daydreaming, a few minutes. No, nothing much. But I try to break the routine, just to see, am I on? Is it still going on? Am I aware? Am I spiritually active? Am I, relaxing a little bit? So we call it traffic control. Keep the traffic smooth, don't let it get too heavy. And otherwise the whole day will pass, and before you know, you'll be stressed at the end. If possible, we do a little break. So morning, evening. Then afterwards you might find that another good time for you is something else. Sometimes people like it 7 o'clock at night. After coming back from work, having dinner maybe, then 7 is very good. And then they do other things and go to bed. But it's very good to try to give you, and that will be my last recommendation. We propose people to try free 3-month trial. Anyway, it's free, so but it's okay. They do that, right? For any program, try it for free, 3 months. Our good point is that afterward, it's still free. But try it for 3 months. Because honestly, we're really dealing with our life. Meditation is not just a feel-good thing. It's, do I want to uplift the quality of my life? And if I really believe in life that we're only running our capacity at 10, 20, 30%, and we'd like to see what happens if you're running at 60% of your capacity or 90%, well, we have to do something. And that meditation is really just an investment, the same way as we're using it for when we eat, when we sleep. And you wouldn't consider a life without sleeping. You wouldn't consider a life without eating. Why do we consider a life without meditating? And I think I started this first session on the course by quoting someone who said that meditation was an option so far, but now it's becoming a necessity. And I really believe that now people are aware of that we lost balance somewhere, because we threw religion away, which was a part of meditation, and now we're realizing we're missing something. So we're sleeping, we're eating, but we're not paying attention to this. And this takes time. We need to give it time. So that's why meditation is something we really feel it should be disciplined, should be regular. Otherwise there won't be a result. You can't get a result with 2-3 days meditation here and there. I stop for a month. I start again one day. It's not going to work. It should be really, that's why we say try 3 months. And even if 3 months is only 10 minutes in the morning, if you miss one morning, just do it at night. Everybody can do it. But you just need to be ready. Now we have phones. It's so simple. You just need to sometimes bring your phone to meditate. You just have application now that propose meditation commentaries, music. I like to sometime in the morning just play a bit of music. That's it. It triggers, this is my time, this is my me time. You can meditate together, you can meditate separately. If you have cats and dogs, they love it. Just put it on your knees and then they purr, they're very nice, you can flat them. Meditate with you, no problem. If you have babies and young children, this is a little bit more complicated. You have to find tricks. With babies and children, you have to find tricks. So, I hope it, I tried to squeeze everything. I know I could go on again for a long time, but just wanted to summarize everything. I'd like to just close with the meditation together, a short one, but one that will go actually with those 4 different aspects of what I shared. And then afterwards I'll distribute to you a summary of that course. You have many things online for support, and then those who are here live in Montreal will discuss the next step. And for those who are online, well, we'll connect through email by connecting with the hub. I'm happy to do sessions, special sessions online where actually I'm going to see people online. We've experimented with Zoom recently, which is a very good way to connect and see each other. So we might be able to offer you something like that. So let's go into an experience for a few minutes, and then promise I'll let you go. So we always start to meditate by acknowledging our physical body and appreciate the calm and tension-free body. In a very simple way, we can imagine light coming from the forehead and spreading out into the whole body. Imagine that you are sending to the whole body waves of light, peace, and just feel how all the muscles relax. Even let your face becomes very tension-free, relaxed. All the body becomes quiet, warm, and just pay attention to the center of the forehead, because this is where I, the living being, sit. This is where my thoughts come from. And by keeping the eyes open, I know what's around me. I can appreciate the room in which I am. I can feel the presence of other people. I start to experience that there is an energy of peace. I imagine that there is white light, very gentle. Even I can see around my body that little line of white light. If I let my eyes become so soft, everything becomes a little bit blurry. And there's just light vibrating. And consciously I slow down the speed of my thoughts. I can feel that every thought becomes so deep. Simple thoughts, positive thoughts, powerful thoughts. And my thoughts are peace. My thoughts are generating vibrations of peace. And peace becomes silence. And I realize how much beauty there is in peace. Peace becomes an infinite, beautiful field of light. As if I am in an oasis of peace, a sacred place of peace. My mind is in suspension, totally free, just with so simple thoughts. But connecting with an ocean of peace. And what I realize is that peace can give me strength. Because peace is also power. Power of peace. As if from thoughts of peace, it becomes my conscience. My intellect radiates peace. And in peace, everything becomes so clear. But I want to keep that peace with me. I want to always carry that deep inner peace. Very slowly, that energy of peace becomes a part of me. And I know that in my words, in my actions, peace will be there. Good. Ça va? Feels good, huh? Okay, so I don't know if there was any comments. People there. So sending greetings to everyone. Very appreciative for people making the effort to be by computer and listen. I know it's not so easy, but really appreciate everyone's presence, and we'll be, as we say, in touch. So thanks for joining, and then see you soon.